Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to talk about number 376, Savra, Queen of the Golgari. I say that with a smile because Vraska would like to have a word with her. Anyway, used to be Queen of the Golgari, former Queen Mother of the Golgari. I don't know. Anyway, whenever you sack a black creature, you can pay 2 life to make each other player sacrifice a creature. And when you sack a green creature, you can gain 2 life. So obviously the object here is to sack a multicolored green and black creature. So you net even and everybody sacks a dude. That's my takeaway, and that's the first place I went. Love that we got the reprint with the cool border. I like the border. I know some people don't, but and I love the set symbols of those guild kits. I had love the guild kits. They are amazing. But let's get to it. So first off, we have to find a way to sacrifice creatures. So let's look at our stack of sacrifice outlets. Well, first and foremost, well, maybe not foremost, I've I'm trying something different with the lighting. So far, so good. So I don't know. That looks pretty clear there, the Grim Backwoods. Yeah, it's a land. You spend some mana, draw a card. 2 colors, you've got a little more space to play around with utility lands and stuff. Speaking of utility lands, I was lucky enough to pull a Phyrexian Tower in one of the 2 packs I bought of UMA. Which, by the way, that is the crashed Predator flagship jutting up out of the ground that they're calling the Phyrexian Tower. It's beautiful. Anyway, we're going to go through here. Uh, I've got spells and creatures and everything. Of course, we have this card's been printed, I don't know, a million times. There's the vampire version, the Blood Baron, and then there's the small vampire version. Of course, there's Nentuko Husk, the zombie version. Then we've got Viserys Seer to Scry. Phyrexian Altar, of course, just to get a mana of any color. I had this passed to me in a draft, by the way. And Ashnod's Altar to just get, it's a free sack outlet. Free sack outlets is mainly what I tried. I say free, that didn't cost anything else beyond Plague Crafter, everybody's going to sack. And I'm going to sack him. Now, granted, he's not multicolor, but I sack him. I pay the 2 life. Everybody else has to sack 2 creatures. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Doomgate. What? How often do we get to play with Doomgate? I mean, this card's been chilling in the binder for years, over a decade. So I was like, you know what? It's black and it's green. It's sacrifice. Heck yeah! I get to sack one during my upkeep. Spend the 2 life. Everybody else, I gain. It's rainbows and sunshine. The not quite as good play after the original OG Marauder there. Of course, we have a Carrion Feeder, Altar's Reap, draw some cards. Life's Legacy. Isn't it amazing? It's pretty much the same card, but the difference from green to black. Drawing 2 cards versus the creature's power. Of course, we have Demon of Catastrophes. By the way, I love that 25 Planeswalker foil symbol in there. That's pretty cool. And it's just a 4-mana 6/6 flying trample. Yeah, those are amazing stats. But you do get to sack a creature. I say get to. Here again, this is another one of those things that I think that we can turn any quote unquote downside into an upside. So sacrificing creatures don't have to be bad. Just look at Grave Pact. By the way, I don't have a Grave Pact or the Dictate of Erebos in here. Those are great cards, but they're used a lot. Hell, I use them a lot. So I'm trying to, I don't know, get outside the box and not and also, there's the fact that I don't have any more. Vraska, the new Golgari queen. Yeah, she, you can sack a permanent, her first one, and then, her ultimate just, turns all your guys into assassins. And then, as I'm playing with that one, I might as well be. There's that glare I hate. Right down the freaking middle of the card. Is it gonna? I think that's just because that one's super damn foiled. Anyway, this ultimate deals with, because obviously you're going to have some guys in the yard, and +1/+1 counter on each creature you control for each creature in your yard. That's pretty strong. Yeah, 7 mana, that's a bunch, but let's look at our ramp. I've got pretty much the whole shebang here. Let's look at. We've got the Golgari artifacts, the Locket, Key Rune, Cluestone, Signet. We've got our crazy land searching. Not a whole lot of land searching with Rampant Growth and Kodama's Reach, but our standard suite, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, because these are creatures we can sacrifice. Elves of Deep Shadow, even running the Llanowar dead just because it's a mana elf and it's 2 colors, so we get to do that thing. Secure Shroud Elder, and our last mana dork is, of course, the Devoted Druid. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, Devoted Druid came out really, really close to another card that's. So let's read this. Yeah, it's a mana dork, but you can put a -1/-1 counter on it to untap Devoted Druid. Untap this. So, if we're running Quill Spike and Devoted Druid, yeah, this was in standard. Hell, this was in block back then. If we're running Devoted Druid and Quill Spike at the same time, you have an arbitrarily large Quill Spike. It's infinite. So, you tap it for the green mana, you put the counter on it to untap it, you tap it for the green mana, activate the Quill Spike, remove the -1/-1 counter from the Devoted Druid, and yeah, it's dumb. Rinse and repeat. So, and you can do all that at instant speed, obviously. I had the foil Quill Spike just chilling in the binder for years too. But anyway, that brings us to our multicolor creatures. So there's quite a bit. I did use some of the new ones. Izani. I basically looked for green, black, multicolor creatures in all of the assorted sets that have had them. And you know what? As it turns out, they're all kind of graveyard synergistic because that's what Golgari does. Except for like the Pitiless Gorgon, but 2/2 Death Touch is not bad. But they're all kind of decent. Well, okay, maybe not all of them, but that was what I did because this way we've got bodies for combat to block and whatnot. And although if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, oh look, it's Guildmage Tribal, Guildmage, Guildmage, Guildmage. Oh, that's right. There's only 3. They've only done it 3 times now. Gerard, the Fine Broker. I like the Mimic. 4/5 Wither for 2. This is, it's going to happen quite a bit. Swamp Walk, Forest Walk, that's all kinds of, hard to block. What is that, 40% of the basic lands? And then, of course, we have Slimefoot, which also doubles as, hey, I'm going to make some dudes. And then the glow-ups for Shaman. So, those are our creatures that we are probably just going to be sacking to, do things. Let's see here. I've got let's go through some just utility good old cards. A Diabolic Tutor. We've got a Putrefy. Y'all know there's a Golgari Charm in here because we're hardcore Golgari. There's a Assassin's Trophy. Back to Nature is going to get rid of some enchantments, like all of them. Plague Boiler. Here again, Plague Boiler is not that amazing, but you don't get to run it in every deck. So it is kind of it is a panic button. Albeit I have a couple of panic buttons in Garrick's Wake, and of course Gaze of the Granite and Exsanguinate, because mana equals win game. Necrogenesis, you get a Saproling for your dead dudes. Treasured Find is just a regrowth. Golgari Germination. Now, this is kind of neat because you're going to be sacrificing your creatures, and with this, you just get saplings as value. Now, cards like this don't see a whole lot of play because, what's the line? They don't do anything when they come into play. Well, they do something, and if you're, we can sack at will, they can do something that turn. But I like to run the cards that, not a lot of people run. Then, of course, we have Find and Finality as we all collectively turn our heads sideways. We can get 2 creatures back or, save a dude. Then, of course, Beastmaster Ascension is another win con. Well, let's see here. All that's left is the lands. We kind of rolled through that pretty quick, didn't we? Because a lot of the creatures were just there for their colors. It's do our standard 2 sack lands that go get lands. And of course, we're running green, so I'll run the Blighted Woodland. Some cycle lands. Rogue's Passage. And then we get to our duels, the Assorted. See? Overgrown Tomb. I'm running that too. Mainly because I pulled one, but Guildgate, the Rock Farm, the 2 Vivids, the Promenade, and I have never even tried to say this word. And y'all can't say it at all because it's all fuzzy. Let me fix that. Yeah. Svokthos? The Tennessee is thick. Anyway, the Restless Tomb. Creature's power doubles equal number of creature cards in your yard. Not bad. But now the all-stars of this deck are the guild basics. I mean, look at those. And first off, there is something appealing about having all of your basics just match. That was one of the early things, the early OCD things and I don't do it on every deck. I really don't, because that would add so much time to the deck building process. And the way I'm cranking out decks, I just can't do it. But here, I already had the Guild Kit binder out, and I was using so many non-basics. It's like, you know what? I think I have enough of these to go ahead and do all the Golgari deck in it. So that is what I've got for Savra. As I said, there are a lot of ways to build this one. She's any of that ISAC, USAC stuff is amazing. There's a vampire that does it in addition to the Grave Pact and the Dictate. But it's going to be hard to keep creatures on the board. There's not a lot to protect you from sacrifice, or to protect players from sacrifice. Anyways, I do appreciate y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. And right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.